Right. Now, a few of your messages have been coming through about this, and we can share them now. This one is from Stephen Edubofour, and he says, the solution to the flooding is simple. The authorities should be bold and pull down every building on the waterways, period. Edwin PHB Dushebe says, oh, Ghana, every day it rains small, flooding. Festus Dancel says, we need an underground drainage system. Justice Nuhu says, I'm still baffled. Where were our national security men? Right. Now, we've been joined in the studio by Assistant Chief Fire Officer Pakwesi Educhum. He's the Chief Staff Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for making the time to be with us. We understand that you have some programs in place, some reforms and so forth that you've got planned. Before we get into those, obviously you are respondents when we have situations like this, flooding yet again for the 100th time in Accra. I wonder, when you see images like what we've been sharing, how does that make you feel as a fire officer?
Good afternoon to your viewers. Definitely we feel very disturbed because we've been experiencing this every now and then, and most of the solutions to such problem is engineering, but it takes a lot of money to address it. I just heard someone saying we should pull down all the structures. It's an alternative, but what will be the outcome? We don't know the number of houses that you pull down and those that you will leave us homeless for the period. So I'm of the view
that they're there illegally, are they not?
It depends. It depends. If it's illegal, then we should find better ways of addressing the issue. It could happen that there's been a block on the waterway, and as such, the spilling has overstretched its bounds and it is affecting others in even legal areas. It could also happen that that particular area, it's an illegal area that in the past, we weren't allowing people to build there. And due to greed, others have sold lands, and those who were in need of it also bought it without going through the search to know whether it's a wetland or something, and that has created these problems. Notwithstanding, when we were young, we knew Accra was a very low-lying area, especially when you take Circle. If you would have a better view of the place, coming from GBC, you know that there's some slope towards the Circle. Coming from the post office, there's also another slope coming. Coming from Adabraka, there's a slope coming. It tells you that it converges. And I am of the view that with this, if it becomes necessarily, the town planning department and the engineering unit of either AMA or furthermore to KNUST to view it and see how best. If it would need that, we need to raise the area in such a way that the waters will go down and everybody should build on top. That will solve the problem, yes. But as I said earlier, it all boils down to capital. Cash.
To cash, indeed. There are some who suggest that perhaps we should do what Nigeria did and build a whole new capital somewhere else.
It's still cash.
It is, isn't it? All right. Now, you're here because the Fire Service has a 5-year corporate strategic plan. Tell us a bit about it. Oh, thank you. My copy?
Yes.
Wonderful. 2019 to 2023.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
The service has been in existence for a period of time. We've worked with Act 219 for a while, and 1997 we went for a review and we had Act 537, which it's 20 years down the line. So it behoves on management of Ghana National Fire Service, including our council, to decide and cut a line or a path that would enable us to meet the exigencies of the time. Firefighting has taken a different dimension these days. It's mostly technological and then also electronic equipment that are being used in fighting fire in certain jurisdictions. In view of that, we in Ghana still do our manual way of fighting fire, using our appliances and using the normal hoses. We can't transform immediately, but we can do certain things to enhance our capacity to address some of these issues. You'll recall that we have high-rise buildings in Ghana, and now in Accra, we have buildings with such height. We were having the turntable ladder, which could go to the 5th or 7th floor, and if you have a 10th floor, then we are in trouble. In view of that, our safety department has gone through a lot of reforms to address some of these issues, and we can boldly say that most of the high-rise buildings have got alternatives within the structure that people can easily come out of the building through emergency escapes. And their suppression systems have various staircases and stairwells, which will take out smoke and toxin gases, so people will not be choked or suffocate within that environment. Notwithstanding, we need to train people to understand the chemistry of all these things. So the chief officer and management took it upon themselves, and we have a lot of collaborations with most of these institutions. University of Energy, University of Cape Coast. We are also negotiating with GEMPA so that most of these safety courses that they run, most of our men will have the opportunity to go through that. And with that knowledge, it will enhance our delivery.
Right. Now, I've been having a quick glance through this, and it's quite comprehensive. You've even included a SWOT analysis.
That's right.
And I just happened to notice that under your weaknesses, you've got about 6 pages of quite a lot of challenges you've got here. Inadequate infrastructure, inadequate logistics and equipment, inadequate financial resources and poor mobilization of internally generated funds, inadequate personnel, inadequate training and career development, poor network connectivity, inadequate motivation for staff, inadequate compliance with some internal structures and procedures, absence of some essential, it goes on, poor information flow, low corporate image. Some of these problems are common to many organizations, so you're not an exception there. But it does appear that you are forced to work under some very serious constraints. Yet you plan to do some big things in the next 5 years. How are you going to manage that?
It takes determination and the support from the ministry. We are fortunate. Most of the support that we've had from our minister, I would say it stems from the president, because as we speak, we have engaged, I would say we have a contract or something like we've signed a document that someone is supposed to give us 2 hydraulic platforms that we are procuring. So once you are buying these platforms, it will come in to support the high-rise building operations that we need to cover. And a 60-meter platform, you would know how high it would be. Currently, we have 21 meters. We have other story buildings which are of certain floors. We are of the view that when we get these hydraulic platforms, it would enable us to, not even completely, but it will enable us to address most of the issues of high-rise buildings. Notwithstanding, our personnel will also gain training, because whatever you get, you also get training in addition. So that would enhance their capacity, and it will enable us to address some of the issues. Thirdly, in trying to look at our weaknesses, infrastructure, yes. If, as we speak, we have 6 more regions, and definitely we need to move in. We've moved in with our regional commanders. We already
have regional commanders in all the 6 new regions.
Yes, we've moved in with our regional commanders. They've had support from the chiefs and then the assemblies and then the new ministers, giving them accommodation and not giving them office premise. Areas where we don't have, they've promised to give us, but we are using the old structures, because we had districts within that area. Once it becomes a regional, the structure should change.
That becomes the capital. Right.
And also personnel. We were working with a certain strength, and that strength was covering 10 regions. And we term it 12 regions because we have Tema as a region and other areas. Now that it's added on, we've moved on, so we need more personnel. Fortunately, we've had grant from the government that we can recruit or employ. So last year, we did employ 1,000. This year, we are employing 1,000. It is not enough, but it's adequate to support us for a while, whilst we will be Oliver Twist. Well, I will be asking for more. Probably 2020, we'll be asking for another 1,000 or 2,000 to augment it, because we also have a system where people retire majority of our forcemen will be retiring around this time till probably 2022. And then also we may also have a view of some of the weaknesses that we need to address, as I made mention of. Trying to see to it that our communication skills with other organizations like the radio and TV stations moves up so that the populace will be educated more, given enough information. Once they know, it will reduce our burden. Once they know, it will reduce our burden.
Right. Okay. Now, when you started, you said that you have great support from the minister, and you said you even think it stems from the president.
Yes.
But some of your challenges, you know, inadequate financial resources, inadequate personnel, training and career development, you don't even have a code of conduct. You know, you've got a very high attrition, no accreditation for your training school. You know, some of the essential departments, units, committees are not there, inadequate compliance with internal structures. I mean, you have some very serious problems here which belie this claim that you are being so well supported by your ministry and stemming from the president. Do you feel that that is just what, unfortunately, in your position, you have to say with the hope that it will encourage them to support you more, as opposed to saying, calling a spade and saying, look, if you don't equip us, we can't do this important job for the nation?
I am a Ghanaian, and I've agreed to serve my nation. We definitely have challenges. Some of the challenges are internal, which can be solved. You made mention of accreditation.
Yeah.
It behoves on us to move to the various agencies, whether University of Cape Coast, University of Ghana, KNUST, sit down with them. Then we will bring out our training package.
Yeah.
They also go through it. That one is internal. It can be done. Code of ethics and code of practice, that one can be done. We are in a world whereby you go to the machine, you get a lot of information.
Yeah.
So best practices elsewhere could be copied, but we will have to relate it to our operations and then the culture that we have in here, so that one can also be an internal thing. And I hope we'll be having our regional fire officers conference around June, middle of June, and these things would come up, and most of the committees will be tasked to address these issues. And when these things are addressed, those within our purview, that's within our ambit, we'll try and get it done, whereby documents will be prepared and forwarded to our council. And those beyond us, we would inform our council through the minister and then to government, and we see how best they can support us.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Fire service has been in existence since 1963. There has been challenges since that time to date. It is up to us, the officers in the service, to accept the fact that we are challenged and we need to find solutions.
Okay. You do have some opportunities that you want to take advantage of as a service, and then you've got a few threats as well. And I've noticed that amongst these threats is emergence of high-rise buildings. And you've talked about what you need in order to be better at fighting fires in high-rise buildings. But you do have I don't know whether he's now a former chief fire officer who said in Parliament that they should pass a law to limit the height of buildings to four stories. Is that still the position of the fire service?
I wouldn't say that I heard it, but once you've said it, you're a journalist, so probably
yes, it was said.
It was said.
Yeah.
Yes, it's done elsewhere, but in our dispensation or in our part of the world, things are done by private sector. If it were to be government buildings, government can come up with a certain height. Nobody goes beyond that. Trying to set up a height for all of us, we would say that yes, maybe as at that time, it was necessary. That was why it was said. But currently, as I made mention, there are best practices elsewhere. Why don't we go in, take advantage of it, see how best we can implement it, and implement such things, so that even if it's going 2025, and there are safety measures in the structure to save lives and property, and there are certain materials which will be fire resistant to prevent the spread for a period of 30 to 1 hour. Why don't you take advantage of it? So that if you want to build, currently you have to present your drawings to the Ghana National Fire Service. If we think it is going up and it's going to pose a problem, we should put in place certain technical and technological features that would prevent the spread. Definitely it will bend, but it will prevent the spread within a certain time, to let's say 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. By then, we would have been there for us to address the issue. And as I made mention earlier, if it's at a height, once the hydraulic platform comes, it will not solve all problems, but it will give us an aided advantage to get to a certain height to address the issue.
Right. Okay. Now, another of your threats is unreliability of some supporting state institutions.
Yes.
Which ones?
Oh, we have stakeholders. NADMO is a stakeholder. Town and country planning, now LUSPA. We have EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, National Petroleum Authority. We have the assemblies. There are a lot. We have Ministry of Energy. We have the police service. We have the Ghana Army. We have the immigration service. We have the prison service. We have a lot of institutions that comes to play with us. And in so doing, we would definitely fall on the expertise and their knowledge to enhance ours. So definitely there are stakeholders that we need to interact with and then tap their knowledge to enhance our delivery.
Which ones are the unreliable ones?
Unreliable, I wouldn't say it's unreliable, but you see, it's about technicalities. If we are talking about a building industry, that's a built environment. There are specific industry organizations which will deal with built environment. Others may not be there, but they may come in when it comes to probably chemical spillage or something else. So it depends on the and fire service cuts across. That's one thing that we should all know.
I'm asking because it's in your own documents.
It's true.
You know,
it's true, and it behoves on us to have better working relations with such institutions.
But you're not stating which ones are unreliable, which kind of makes it difficult for us to help put pressure on them to be more reliable.
Oh, unreliable, definitely we may get an institution which will not be unreliable, but it all behoves on us that once we know, it is up to us to get a better working relation with them. And then if need be, we need a desk to address it, we need to do that. Because we may need their support.
Now, it's great to see that you have some thematic areas that your strategy is going to encompass: human resource development, physical infrastructure development, logistics and equipment, financial resources, mobilization, application and use of ICT, and so forth. And it looks very well thought out. It looks like the future, if you're able to follow this strategic plan, will be wonderful. What can the people of Ghana do to support the Ghana National Fire Service in achieving these goals?
We have three different categories. We have stakeholders that we work with. Definitely we may need their support. Ghana Water Company is a stakeholder. Now PDS, Electricity Company of Ghana, GRICO, VRA, we will need their support. Ghana Gas, we will need their support. Association of Oil Marketing Companies, we need their support. National Petroleum Authority, we need their support. When it comes to other areas, town planning, we need their support. Environmental Protection Agency, we need their support. Game and Wildlife Forestry, we need their support because of bushfires. So there are a lot of things that we need to get into so that it will enhance and also help us to meet such exigencies. This document that we see here for the next 5 years, there will be a lot of collaboration once it's outdone. So now there's going to be a lot of collaboration. But we in our own setup need to do our own homework. And as I indicated earlier, we are holding a Regional Fire Officers Conference, which would bring on board all the regional commanders, the directors, and other technical staff of the service. And we'll go through this, come up with brainstorm all these things and come up with solutions to most of these challenges that we have, or the threats that we've made mention of. And in view of that, we'll be addressing them one after the other based on priority. And we hope by the 5th year, we might have covered a certain distance. ACFO Educhim, Ghana needs you and your colleagues to succeed. So we certainly hope that you're able to carry out this 5-year plan to the benefit of the whole nation. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Time to be with us. Thanks so much.